We are going to start now the next chapter, statistics of class 9th mathematics. This is chapter 14, and we have divided this chapter in 3 lectures. So in the first lecture we will study some basic terms and definitions related to statistics. So the first topic we have to discuss is the presentation of data in tabular form. And the first definition we have, it is the frequency distribution. So the first term we see over here, it is data. This term we are talking about, it is presentation of data in tabular form. So what is data? So we are saying in the modern society we are dealing with certain kind of information, and that information is in the form of numerical figures. So if we talk about the example, we are saying it may be the profit of a company, it may be the monthly wages earned by workers in a factory, it may be the expenditure in various sectors of 5-year plan, like this. Then it may be the marks obtained by the students in a class. So all these values, these are some numerical values we can collect, and we require some information, and that information is in the form of numerical figures, and these numerical figures, this is called data. So the exact definition is, the word data means information or set of given facts in numerical figures. That is data. Next is statistics. So it is a science which deals with the collection, presentation, analysis and interpretation of numerical data. This is the definition given over here, that if we have some data, then the collection of that data, representation of that data, analysis of that data and interpretation of that numerical data, we are saying that branch of science, it is called statistics. So that is statics, and the plural of this is statistics. Now the next thing we have is types of data. So we are basically dividing it in two forms. One is the primary data and second is the secondary data. So primary data is the data collected by the investigator himself with a definite plan in mind is known as primary data. And secondary data means the data collected by someone other than the investigator. So the basic difference, if I talk about with an example, then suppose I am saying that a test is conducted in your class and you have collected that data yourself, the marks of the students you have collected yourself, then that data will be the primary data, that you have collected the marks of those students and you have an objective to collect that data and you can process the data yourself. The secondary data means, if suppose in our country the population is being counted, or some 5-year plan is there, and in that plan they have given the expenditure of various sectors, that data is collected by someone else, but we are taking that data from some sources and we are using that data to interpret something. So what it means, secondary data means that the data is basically collected by someone else, but we are using that data, so that is called the secondary data. Next is raw or ungrouped data. So data obtained in original form are called the raw or ungrouped data. So if suppose I am talking about the marks, so suppose we are saying we have 10 students in the class and we have collected the data that their marks in mathematics test. So suppose their marks are, out of 10 we are saying it is 9, 8, 6, 9, 10, 8, like this. There are 10 students in the class and their marks are like this. We have collected this data in this form. So this is, we are saying it is raw data. Next we are saying grouped data. Grouped data means, in place of writing the marks in this form, we are saying that number of students having the marks 0 to 5, it is say 3. Then number of students having the marks 5 to 10, it is, we are saying there are total 10 students, so there are 7 students over there. So what we have done, we have collected this data. From this data we are talking about that 3 students are there whose marks are between 0 and 5, and 5 students are there whose marks are between 7 students are there whose marks are between 5 and 10. So what we have done is we have grouped this data. We have grouped this data. Next is array. An arrangement of raw numerical data in ascending or descending order of magnitude is called an array. So we are saying, suppose we are arranging the marks in ascending order and we get it is 2, 5, then 5, then we are talking about it is 6, 9, there is 6, then it is 7, 7 like this. So we have arranged them in ascending order. So if we have arranged the marks in the ascending order, then we are this kind of representation in which it is arranged in ascending or descending order, that is called an array. Next is presentation of data. So presentation means putting the data in the form of tables in condensed forms. It is known as presentation of data. So we are saying this was the data given to us. We can present it in this tabular form, that marks between this and this is this. We can put in this array form and arrange them in table. Then this kind of presentations, in that how we are presenting that data, it is called the presentation of that data. Next is the frequency of an observation. Frequency means that how many times an observation is repeating. If suppose I am talking about this, so 2 is, how many times 2 is repeated? It is only 1. Now we have 5, it is repeated 2 times, 6 is 1 time. Say the next digit over here, it is again 7. So 7 is repeated 3 times. So frequency of 2 is 1. Frequency of 5 is 2. Frequency of 6 is 1. Frequency of 7 is 3. So frequency is basically how many times that particular value or observation is repeated in our data. That is called the frequency of an observation. So frequency distribution of an ungrouped data. This is the next definition we have. Frequency distribution of an ungrouped data. So the tabular arrangement of data showing the frequency of each observation is called the frequency distribution. In the next step we will see with an example what this thing means. So we are talking about that there are suppose 20 families are there. There are 20 families we are talking about, and we have collected the data that how many number of children are there in these families. So in the first family we are saying that there are 4 children, then 5, then 2, then 4, then 2. Like this we have collected the data from these 20 families, and these are the values we have collected. So first of all we are arranging these values in the ascending order of magnitude. So what we see from here is this, the smallest value we have over here, it is 1. The smallest value we have over here, it is 1. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times it is 1. So we have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times we have written 1 over here. The next value we have, it is 2. This is 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it is 2. So we have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we have written 2 over here. After this, the larger value, the next larger value we have, it is 3. So 3, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 times it is 3. So we are writing 1, 2, 3, 4 times we have 3 over here. The next value, it is 4. So it is 1, 2, 3 times we have 4. We have written 3 times 4 over here. And the next value we have, it is 5. So it is 1, 2 times we have 5 over here. So basically what we are saying is that the frequency of 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the frequency of 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But counting in this way is a bit difficult task. So in place of this, what we are going to do is, first of all, we look at these numbers and we see what numbers are there. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These are the numbers we have. Now the next step what we are going to do is, the first number, it is 4. So in front of 4 we mark a line like this. This is this represents, first is 4, next it is 5, so in front of 5 we have marked this line, then it is 2, then it is 4 again, so in front of 4 we have marked this next line, then 2 is 2 times, we have marked 2 lines over here, then it is 1 3 3 2, so 1 3 3 2 means in front of 1, then 3 3 and 2, then it is 5 3 and 1, this is 5 3 1. Now we have over here it is 2 over here, so 2 means now we have already marked these 4 lines over here. In front of 2 we have marked these 4 lines, 1 2 3 4 lines. When we are marking the 5th line, we will not mark it like this, we will mark it like this. We will mark the 5th line in this form. This is the standard procedure. Why? I will explain it. That these marking that we are doing over here, these are called the tally marking. So how we tally mark? It is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and the 5th mark that we will do, it is crossing diagonally the 4th tally mark. So the 5th mark that we will mark at 2, it will be like this. Next we have 1 over here, then we have 4, then we have 3, then we have 2. Next we will mark 2 like this. Next we have 2 times. Next we have 1 over here. So 1 means we have to mark it like this. Now by looking at these values, these tally marks we are talking about, we are saying how many, what is the frequency of 1? It is 5. What is frequency of 2? We know this is representing 5, and this is 1, this is 6. Next it is 4, next it is 3, and next it is 2. So these are the number of families, or we are saying this is the frequency, and these are the number of children. So what this thing means is, if I am talking about how many families have 3 children, so we are saying there are 4 families that have 3 children. There are 2 families that have 5 children. So this is the presentation of data, and this is how the tally marks they are marked. The important thing over here is that when we are presenting the data, we are doing the tally marking over here, and these are how the tally marks they are marked. That after the 5th tally mark, that is that we have done diagonally, and then 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th will be there. You suppose we have to represent 10 things, so it is 1 2 3 4, 5th is like this, then it is 1 2 3 4, 5th is like this, then it is 1. So how many total are there? This represent 5, this represent 5, this represent 1. So the total it is representing, it is 11. So this is how we put the tally marks. Next we have 2 types of frequency distributions. So one is the exclusive form or continuous form, and second is the inclusive form, that is discontinuous form. So it is frequency distribution in which each upper limit of each class is excluded and lower limit is included is called an exclusive form. So what this thing means is, suppose the marks obtained by some students are given, and we can consider the classes as the classes we are talking about first. So classes we are talking about, it is, say I am saying the students, those who have obtained the marks between 0 to 10. Next I am talking about the students who have obtained the marks between 10 and 20. So class means I am talking about this is one class, 0 to 10 it is one class, 10 to 20 it is the second class. Now what we are going to do over here, that 0 we include and 10 we exclude. When we are talking about this class over here, we are saying 0 is included and 10 is excluded. So what we mean to say, suppose the marks we have, it is 2, 8, 10, 18. These are the marks of the students. So what we are saying is, when we are talking about the exclusive form means this 2 will be marked in this, 8 will be marked in this, then 10 will be marked in the next one, and 18 will be marked in the next one. So the frequency for this class it is 2, and frequency of this class it is 2. So we are saying between 0 and 10 10 is excluded, 0 is included. How many students are there? 2 students. Then 10 is included and 20 is excluded. How many students are there? There are 2 students over here. When we are talking about the inclusive form, then the inclusive form means, suppose I am saying 0 to 10, then 11 to 20, then 21 to 30. These forms we are talking about. So it means 0 and 10 both are included. So if I am talking about 0 to 10 in this form, so we have how many students are there? 3 students are there. Then we are talking about 11 to 20, how many students are there? 1 student is there. And when we are talking about 21 to 30, how many students are there? 0 students are there. So this kind of form in which this 10 is and 0, both of the class limits, they are included in this, that is called the inclusive form. Next we are saying that this data is given to us in which, and this data gives us the marks out of 50 obtained by 30 students of a class in a test. So these are the marks that are given to us. We have to arrange them in ascending order and present it as a grouped data in exclusive form and inclusive form. So first thing we have to do is we have to arrange them in ascending order. So ascending order means the smallest to largest value we are talking about. So the smallest value over here, it is 1. So we have written 1 over here. After 1 it is 2. Then we will search for 3. 3 is not there. 4 is not there. Then we have 5. In this way we will arrange all these marks in the ascending order, and these ascending order, it is shown over here that how these marks, these are arranged. So we get the ascending order in this form. Next thing we have to do is we have to present the data in grouped data in exclusive form and inclusive form. So first of all we are writing in the exclusive form. So exclusive form means we are talking about 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, then 20 to 30, then 30 to 40, and 40 to 50. We are talking about the exclusive form. Exclusive form is that 10 is excluded. These all values we are talking about, these are excluded from these classes, and these values, these are included in these classes. Now we are talking about how many numbers are there. We are talking about these numbers are there. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers are there that are included in this class. Now 10 is in the next class. So how many numbers are there? We are talking about the numbers from this to 19. All these numbers, they lie in this second class. So how many numbers are there? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers are there. So the frequency for this class, it is 11. Next, it is 21 over here. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers are there, because 30 will be included in the next class. It is not included in this class. So the answer for the next interval, we will have 4, and for the next we will have 4 as the frequency. So we are saying that the frequency means the number of students that whose marks lie between 0 and 10. It is 6. Say it is 30 to 40. How many students are there? It is 4. And this 30 to 40 means 40 is excluded over here. Next we have to write this data in the inclusive form. So in inclusive form we are saying, if I am talking about this first class 0 to 10, then 0 is included in this as well as 10 is included in this. So if we look at these numbers over here, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 numbers are there. These are 7 numbers that are between 0 and 10, or we are saying in the class 0 to 10 in the inclusive form. Next we have these 10 numbers are there that are in the class 11 to 20 in the inclusive form. Next we have, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here are saying these are the 6 numbers are there that are between 21 and 30 that are in the inclusive form. Similarly, these numbers we are talking about up to 40 we are saying these are the numbers between 31 and 40, and these three numbers are between 41 and 50, and this is the frequency distribution, and this form it is the inclusive form. In the previous part it was exclusive form, so the frequencies are different in both these cases. Next are some definitions. So first definition, it is variate or a variable. So any character which is capable of taking several different values is called a variable. So as an example it is given over here. Suppose we make a survey of workers in a factory and record the age, sex and income of each worker. So the three variables over here we have, it is age, sex and income. Because corresponding to each worker we will have different value of age, different value of sex, different value of income over there. We can have any value over there. So another thing to note over here is when we are talking about the age and income, these are the quantitative variables. Quantitative variable means we are talking about they will have some numerical value, but when we are talking about the variable sex, it will have two values, male and female, and these kind of variable, these are called the qualitative variable. That it is not representing the quantity, it is representing the, it is called the qualitative variable. Next is class interval. So class interval means each group into which the raw data is condensed is called a class interval. So in the previous questions also we have seen that how the class intervals are formed. We were given that the marks of the students are from 0 to 50. So intervals we have made, it is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. We can also make the intervals in the form 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20. So it depends upon what kind of data interpretation we need or what kind of results we need. So based on that we can make the class intervals. So as explained over here, we are saying each class is bounded by two figures which are called the class limits. So in the example, if I am talking about say 0 to 10, 10 to 20. So if I am talking about this is the class interval, then this 0 and 10, these two are called the class limits. The figure on the left side is called the lower limit. This is called the lower limit. And figure on the right hand side, it is called the upper limit. Next definition we have, it is the class boundaries or the true upper and true lower limits. So the first rule we have, in the exclusive form, the upper and lower limit of a class are respectively known as the true upper limit and the true lower limit. But if the data is given in the inclusive form of the frequency distribution, then the true limit of a class is obtained by subtracting 0.5 from the lower limit of the class. So if we again look at the same examples over there, so we are talking about 1 is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So what form is this? This is the exclusive form. Exclusive form means that the endpoint they are not included over here. So in this case we are saying these are the true upper and lower limits. 0 is the true lower limit, true upper limit, true lower limit, true upper limit. But when we are talking about the inclusive form, suppose I am saying it is over here we are talking about 11 to 20, then 21 to 30, then 31 to 40. These are the intervals that we have. Then the true lower limit will be 10.5 and true upper limit it is 20.5. Over here the lower limit is 20.5, the upper limit is 30.5. So what we are doing is we are adding 0.5 to all these values and we are subtracting 0.5 from all these values, and these values, the 10.5, 20.5, these are the true lower limits, 20.5, 30.5, these are the true upper limits. Next definition we have, it is the class size. So the difference between the true upper limit and the true lower limit of a class is called the class size. So if we have to calculate the class size over here, it is 10 minus 0 is equal to 10. In this case, it is 20 minus 10 is equal to 10. So in this case, we are talking about the class size is 10. And in the inclusive form, when we are talking about, then the class size we will calculate, it is like 20.5 minus 10.5, and that is equal to 10. So it is not 20 minus 11, 9. This is not the class size. Class size is calculated from here, and the class size is over here, it is 10. So class size, when we calculate from the true upper limit minus the true lower limit. That is called the class size. Next is the class mark of a class. So it is the upper limit plus lower limit by 2. So if we have to calculate the class mark over here, so it is 31 plus 40 over 2. So the answer we will get, it is 71 over 2. So that is equal to 35.5. If we have to find the class mark over here, in this case, then the class mark is 20 plus 30 by 2. So the answer we will get, it is 50 by 2. So that is equal to 25. So the difference between two consecutive class marks gives the class size. This is one of the results that we have now, that if we have two consecutive class marks and we find the difference between those two values, then that will give us the class size. Next is the range. This is just the definition we have. So the difference between the maximum value and the minimum value of a variable, that is called the range. So if the marks of the students were given to us, then we are saying the minimum marks we have, it is 1. In that case, we are saying the minimum marks were 1 and maximum marks that were having, that was 48. So what we are saying, the range is maximum marks minus the minimum marks. So the answer is 47. Now next thing we have is method of forming the classes of a data. So the first step we have to do is determine the maximum and the minimum value of the variate occupying in the data. So whatever the values are given to us, we will see what is the maximum value and what is the minimum value. Next thing we have to do is decide upon the number of classes to be formed. As we have discussed earlier also, if suppose the marks from 0 to out of 50 marks were given to us, so we can, it depends upon, we are talking about how many classes we want to form. So if suppose I am forming the classes like this, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. I am making the classes like this. I can also make the number of classes like it will increase 5, then 5 to 10, then 10 to 15, like this, then 45 to 50. So this will increase the number of classes. So we have to decide that how many classes we want to make. Next thing we have to do is find the range. Range we now know, it is the maximum value minus the minimum value. This is the next step we are talking about, find the range, that is the difference between the maximum and the minimum value. Now divide the range by the number of classes to be formed. Next, be sure that there must be classes having minimum and maximum values occurring in the data. So by counting, we obtain the frequency of each class. So these are some steps and these steps will be more clear to you with the next examples that we are going to do. So in the question, the marks obtained by 40 students of class 9th in an examination are given below. So we have to present the data in the form of a frequency distribution using the same class size, starting with class 0 to 5 where 5 is not included. So to start this question, we are saying that the minimum value over here in this data, it is 0, and the maximum value of the observation over here, it is 24. This thing you can see from this data that the minimum and maximum values are 0 and 24. So the class of equal size covering the given data are, we are saying it is 0 to 5, because this is given to us that the first class is 0 to 5. What is the class size? The class size over here, it is 5. So the next class will be 5 to 10. Next will be 10 to 15. Next will be 15 to 20, and next will be 20 to 25. We know that the maximum value we have, it is 24 over here. So we know not to write the next class over here, because the maximum value is 24 and that will lie in this class interval. So these are the marks we are talking about, that marks between 0 and 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and 20 to 25. Next thing we have to do is we have to draw the tally marks. So it is 23 over here. So 23 will lie in this class. Next it is 5. We know that this is the exclusive form. So 5 will lie over here in this class. Next it is 12. So 12 will lie in this class. Next it is 16. 16 will lie in this class. It is 8, 6, 12. So 8, 6 and 12. Like this, you will mark all the tally marks over here. And finally, what you will see from this, these are 5 plus 1. So frequency over here, it is 6. Next, it is 5 plus 5. It is 10. So when you will mark all these points for corresponding to all these values, when you will mark the tally marks, you will get the tally marks in this form. This thing you can try at your own, that you will get the tally marks in this form, and from these tally marks you can count the, you can write the frequency. If I am talking about this value, it is 5 plus 3, so this represents 8. Similarly, this represents 8, 8 and 10. So total values you can see from this, it is 40, and this is what was given to us in the question, that there were total 40 students. So this thing will help you to check whether you have counted all the values or not, that this value should be equal to the total number of students. This is the total frequency that we will have. So what this data will tell us, this tells us that 8 students are there, those who have marks between 15 to 20. 10 students are there, those who have marks between 5 to 10. So this is how we can interpret the data from the given frequency distribution table. Now in this next question, the water tax bills of 30 houses in a locality are given below. So there are total 30 houses we are talking about. We have to construct the frequency distribution table with class size 10. So first thing we are going to see from this is that the minimum value over here, it is 114, and the maximum value that we have, it is 212, and that value is over here. This is the 212, it is the maximum value that we have. So range we can calculate, it is 98. Class size we have, it is 10. So we can write the classes in the form. Suppose we are starting with the value 114. The next value will be 124. Why? Because the class size is given to be 10. Next will be 124 to 134, and continuing in this way, the last value will be 204 to 214. This is one of the methods to write. Or what you can do is you can start it with 110 to 120, 120 to 130, 130 to 140. Likewise, you can continue up to 210 to 220. So it is up to you that how you want to write these values. But when it is given that the class size should be 10, then the class size in this case is also 10, and class size in this case is also 10. So if we are writing the frequency over here, so what we are going to do is, again it is 114. 114 means the tally mark we will put in front of 114. Then it is 184. Now 184 will lie in this class. Next it is 130. So 130 will lie in this class. Similarly, you in this way you will continue putting the tally marks and you will get the final tally marks in this form. These are the tally marks that we have obtained, and from these tally marks we can write the frequency over here that corresponding to this. We have 4, this is 2, this is 3, this is 5, this is 4. So what this table tells us, that how many families have the bill between 154 and 164. Suppose we are being asked how many families have bill between 154 and 164, then the answer we have it is 1. How many families have bill between 174 and 184? It is 5. So this is what frequency distribution tells us, that what this frequency is telling us, that how many families have the bill between 194 and 204. It is 3 families are there. So this is how we can read this frequency distribution table. Now the next is the weight in grams of 50 apples picked at random from a consignment are as follows. So there are total 50 apples we are talking about, and their weights are noted, and these are the weight of those 50 apples. So form the grouped frequency table by dividing the variable range into intervals, each of width 20 grams, such that the mid value of the first interval is 70 grams. So the class size that is given to us, it is 20, and the mid value of the first interval is 70. So what it means, if 70 is the mid value over here and class size is 20. So suppose the two values we are talking about, one value it is A, and second the lower limit and upper limit we are talking about, these are A and B, and suppose these two values we are saying these are A and B, and their mid value is given to be 70 and class size is given to be 20. So what is given to us, it is B minus A is 20 and A plus B by 2 is 70. So what we get is A plus B is equal to 140 and B minus A is equal to 20. So if we add these two equations, we get 2B is equal to 160. So the value of B will get it is 80. The value of B we will get it is 80, and the value of A we will get, if we substitute this value of B over here, we are saying 80 minus A is equal to 20. So 80 minus 20 is equal to A, and this is equal to 60. So the first interval we will get it is 60 to 80. This is our first interval that we have to form. Now another way to do this is, we are saying 70 is the midpoint, class interval is 20. It means if we half 20, it is 10. It means 10 units on this side, 10 units on this side. So it is 70 plus 10 is 80 and 70 minus 10 is 60. So we are saying the first interval we will get it is 60 to 80. Now if we look at the values over here, then the maximum value that we have over here, it is 204. So the intervals that we have to form, they should start from 60 to 80. We have shown in the table 60 to 80, it is the first value. Then the interval size, it is 20, so it is 80 to 100, then 100 to 120, 120 to 140. Now the maximum value that we are having over here, it is 204. So we have to write the intervals up to 200 to 220, because 204 will lie in this interval. Next we will put the tally marks over here. So 131 is there, So corresponding to 131, we will put the tally mark in front of this. Then it is 113 is there, so 113 will lie in this. Then 82 is there, it will lie in this interval. Then 75 is there, it will lie in the first interval, first class we are talking about. Likewise, we will continue and we will put all these tally marks corresponding to these values. So these are the tally marks shown over here. You can draw it like this. Now what we get is, we have to write the frequency over here. So the frequency over here, it is 5, then it is 5 plus 5 plus 3, 13, then 5, 5, 5, 15, 17, then 5 plus 5, it is 10, this is 1. Now in this case, what we are getting over here is that 160 to 180, there is no value. So the frequency we will write over here, that will be 0. Between 160 to 180, there is no value over there. So the frequency we are writing over here, this frequency we are saying we are not having any tally mark over here, so this frequency is 0. Next it is 3, next it is 1, and the total value we have, it is 50, and it was also given in the question that the data that was collected was for the 50 apples. So this is how we can write the classes. We are writing the tally marks, and these are the corresponding frequencies we are talking about. Next, the relative humidity of a certain city for a month of 30 days was as follows. So these are the percentage humidity given to us. We have to construct a grouped frequency distribution table with classes 84 to 86, 66 to 60, 88, etc. So what we see is 84 to 86, it means class size is 2, 86 to 88, class size is 2. Now if we look at these values over here, the minimum value that we will have, it is 84.9, and the maximum value that we have, it is 99.2. So we can see that we have to construct the classes in this form, that it is 84 to 86, class size is 2, then 86 to 88, class size is 2, then 88 to 90, class size is 2, and continuing in this form, we get this last class as 98 to 100. Over here also the class size is 2. Next we will put the tally marks over here. So it is 89.2. So 89.2 will lie in this. Next 92.3. So 92.3 will lie in this. Next is 97.1. 97.1 will lie in this. Next is 93.5. So 93.5 will lie in this. Likewise, when we will put the tally marks, we will get the answers in. These are the tally marks that we will obtain on marking these values. And the corresponding frequencies that we have obtained, this is 1, 1, 2, 2, 7, 6, 7 and 4. The next thing that is being asked is, which season do you think this data is about? So what we can see from this is that most of the frequency, these values over here, these frequencies we are talking about, they are lying close to 100. That is the more humid season we are talking about. So more humid means we are talking about this is the data related to the rainy season. The third thing that we have to calculate, it is the range of this data. The range, the formula for range, we know it is the maximum value, that is 99.2 minus the minimum value 84.9. the answer we will get, it is 14.3. so the range of this data, it is 14.3. Now next we have, it is the definition of cumulative frequency. So the cumulative frequency corresponding to a class is the sum of all frequencies up to and including that class. So this definition we will explain with the help of an example. And the next definition we have is a table which shows the cumulative frequencies over various classes called the cumulative frequency distribution table. So what cumulative frequencies we will see with this next example. So the marks obtained by 35 students in examination are given. These are the marks obtained by 35 students in an examination. So form a cumulative frequency table with class interval of length 50. So we are saying that to draw the frequency table, what we have to do is we have to see the minimum value, and the minimum value over here it is 154, and the maximum value that we have over here it is 460. So we can take the class intervals of length 50. So length 50 means we will start our intervals with the first value as 150. The length of the interval should be 50. So the next value is 200. Next we are talking about it is 200 to 250. Next it is 250 to 300. Next it is 300 to 350. Then 350 to 400. 400 to 450. Then 450 to 500. These are the class intervals that we have obtained. Now if you look at these values over here, the first value it is 380, and 380 will lie in this interval over here. We have put the tally mark over here. Then 405 will lie in this, 378 will lie over here, then 410 will lie over here. Likewise we will put the tally marks, and we have obtained, these are the tally marks over here, and corresponding to this we will obtain the frequency. These are the frequencies. Now next thing we have to do is we have to write the cumulative frequency. Now cumulative frequency means, our definition was saying that it is the sum of all frequencies up to and including that class. So if I am talking about the first class, it is 150 to 200. So it is sum of all the frequencies of that class, and up to that class means all previous frequencies we are talking about. So the answer we are writing it is 5. I am talking about the cumulative frequency, we write CF. Next, when I am talking about the class 200 to 250, so frequency of this class is 3. Frequency of the previous class is 5. We have to add that also, and the answer we are getting it is 8. Next I am talking about it is 250 to 300. So we are talking about the frequency of this class is 5. Frequency of the previous class is 8, and before that it is 5. So the total answer we are getting it is 13. So cumulative frequency means we are saying this is just 5. Then next step we have done it is this 5 plus 3. Next we are saying we have obtained this answer is 8. So we are saying what we have to do it is 5 plus 3 plus 5, or so what we are saying, this value we are saying it is 5, and previous frequency we are saying it is 8. So the cumulative frequency we are saying it is 5 plus 8. Next it is 6 plus 13. Next it is 8 plus 19. Then it is 7 plus 27, and next it is 34 plus 1. So when we are writing 34 plus 1, this 34 is, why it is 34? Because we are adding all the previous frequencies. It means we are talking about 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6 plus 8 plus 7 plus 1. That is the cumulative frequency corresponding to this. Now what this frequency is representing, if I am talking about this first class over here, now in place of interval we are saying these are the marks obtained below 200. How many students are there whose marks are below 200? These are the number of students whose marks are below 250. These are the number of students whose marks are below 300. Marks are below 350. So suppose I am saying how many students are there whose marks are below 350. Below 350 means I am talking about this interval over here, this class over here. Marks below 350 means all the students having the marks below 350 means they are lying in the interval 150 to 200, 200 to 250, 250 to 300, and 300 to 350. So I have to add all these values. So this is what cumulative frequency represents. Cumulative frequency basically, if I am talking about this value is 19, it means I am talking about the number of students who have marks below 350. if I am talking about this is 34, it means this is representing the number of students who have marks below 450. This is what cumulative frequency represents.